Okay, hello there. It's Jarek from Archon Studio. Give me a sec. Let me set up everything. I hope. Yes, everything is working. Hi there, it's Jarek from Archon Studio. I'm the Archon CEO. And welcome to my 27th AMA, I believe. So we have changed we have changed something this week. So it's not only being streamed on the YouTube, we're also streaming on Facebook. And in the future, we're also going to be streaming on other platforms. So we'll see how it goes. So for those of you who are actually joining for the first time, we are doing those, making those AMAs every 2 weeks, roughly every 2 weeks, depending on content we have to share with you. And mainly we are focusing on answering questions and as well as providing updates for our projects. So sometimes it sometimes might be boring because I'm showing quite a lot of data and other stuff about the business. In some cases, I have some sneaky peek stuff which are here and there hidden sometimes. Yeah. So welcome. We have some questions before I move to a presentation. Let me just check if yes, everything works. Yep. Okay. Before we move to a presentation, I just want to answer a few some questions which just arrived. So we have a question regarding the future of the battleground. Yeah, we have in plans more vehicles. The team is working on that one. We also have in plans one more faction, and also as every year, so this year as well at Essen, we will have a one more special miniature, so special release miniature, which is actually aligned with the new faction. So try to guess which one is. But I'm saying that we haven't forgot about Battleground whatsoever. It's been basically every quarter we stick to the plan of releasing new stuff for it, so it's happening. And yes, vehicles are coming, and also we plan to do more terrain bits with more missions. So this is something as well for, I think, first quarter of 2024. So yes, more vehicles. It wasn't easy. I mean, only one problem with vehicles actually is to make sure the vehicles are within the correct scale, at least close to the correct scale, right? Because it's quite difficult when you have to keep it and stay within the boundaries of the hex space. Okay, right. If you have more questions, let's keep them coming. If not, I'm gonna move now to a few slides. I have some, let's call them heavy updates for Heroes of Might and Magic, which I'm gonna move them. And we're gonna move that now. Right, we have some questions which I need to answer first, and they are coming from... Oh, I forgot again that my actually face is covering that space. I will have to do it again. I have to remember. Anyway, we have some questions coming from Discord, so let's answer them. So the question is regarding the pre-painted sprues. Now, for those of you who don't know what he was talking about pre-painted. Let me just check the quicker camera. So I was showing you a couple weeks ago this. So this has been pre-painted by the machine. Depending on the material we use for plastic, it gives you different shades of color. So this is pre-painted. Obviously, this is only tiny sample. We didn't want it to go for the entire sprue because there's no need. If that works for small element, it will definitely work for the entire sprue. So this is what we're planning for the next Kickstarter, which is coming towards the end of the year. And that's the pre-painted. So the question is about whether we plan to do the previews for the previous styles. So every single Kickstarter we run, we always have something for the previous Kickstarters and for the rapid shipping. So here, I believe we will have also option for pre-painted for the pre-painted sprues from previous from the previous Kickstarters. We don't know yet how much and how, which designs. There is something important to note about the pre-painting, because I've been thinking about this process and thinking how actually great it could be. Why great is we could potentially give you a number of designs you pick from. So it doesn't have to be these colors. We can change those colors the way, on the go, and then we can design 3 different or 4 different colors, and then you could potentially choose and the color you want to have your spruce to be made of. On top of that, every single sprue. So if you find like 6 sprues of the same design in a pack, every single sprue could be painted differently, which means might be just a little bit of different, some small details on it. But then when you start actually assembling the corridors, you will see them being completely different, if you know what I mean. So that's going to be a huge step up for us, and I believe it's going to be something which is not there on the market. And I think it's a small revolution, because if that works for the small corridors, if that works for dungeon lasers, we can then roll out the same process for ramparts. So just imagine the wargaming terrain. You won't have to paint it. You just go open the box, plug and play, assemble it, maybe even push fit, and that's it. And off you go, and you can play the game. Could we make for the miniatures? Because there was also a question about that one. I would say no. This process might not be suitable for the miniatures yet. However, we never know. Maybe we can actually develop some another layer of this process to allow us to actually make the miniatures pre-painted on sprues. That would be interesting, right? Half hobby only. All right. The next question is then the reason you choose nuclear green for the retail version of the sewers, and will other colors will be available? Other colors won't be available, and then one of the reasons why we have choose the green one was they were the most popular color at the from the Kickstarter. So we only could choose one, and we go for that one which was the most popular. Are we going to have more colors available in the future? I don't think so. Maybe during Kickstarters as only Kickstarters. Only Kickstarter Premium, let's say. Grand Stronghold and the... okay. Yes, they are actually quite popular. That's the whole idea. The whole idea was actually to give you a number of pieces in one box, like a bigger sets, with some idea how to assemble. And here actually is quite good comment, and thank you for that one, and thank you for this question about different way of assembling it. So if you maybe recall, there is a software written by one of the backers which allows you to create in 3D dungeon and lasers kind of elements. So we are going to investigate this one, and I think Martin or one of the team members is going to get in touch with that creator to actually expand on that one, and let's see what we can do. And then the plan is to actually run some nice competition at the on our Facebook. So if you have this set, or if you have a similar set and you assemble something great and you think that's that's great stuff, you can participate in the tournament, or not tournament but this competition, win something, and then we will basically let's say make instruction how to make it based on your design. So that was the idea, and it's still ongoing, and I think we're gonna be able to roll this one out in the next couple of months. Obviously we are in a holiday period. The part of the team just came back from the holidays, so we slowly getting back to normal, let's say. So we will take a few weeks to get to those ideas and dig them out and get them again on a table and start working on them. Right, let me check some questions, because I see here we have a list of stuff. There's some discussions. When can we expect the points updates for Wave 6 on the Battleground? I believe they should be now. Have a look on the download page. for the battleground. And if they're not there, I don't know, somebody from our team, just have a look what's going on. They should be there because usually we update the points straight away with the release. Just have a look on the page. Now, on the page side, there's something very important to mention. We are in the process of actually getting brand new page. So much more modern, much better looking page, and where we combine everything in one page. Because currently we have several different landing pages for different projects. So we have a landing page for the battleground, we have landing page for the dungeons and lasers and such, and we have all those materials in different pages, and we want to combine into one page where you have one landing page, one store, and as well as download. So we had presentation today. At 11 o'clock in the morning. Looks amazing. Really happy with the page and how the design is actually going. So it's still far away of being rolled out. So yeah, we need some time, but looking very promising. Yeah. So again, just have a look on the download page for Battleground. When are you making the big announcement? I think we're gonna hold the big announcement at the moment till when we closer to Essen. I think we need to have a good materials. However, I can mention today another announcement that the team is actually working on a 4X game, which is based on one of the license, and yeah, so that should be announced a little bit quicker, I believe, including the landing page. But yeah, that's it. I won't say more about it. You're right about wash. Okay, so this pre-painted looks amazing, looks really good. I mean, it looks much better when actually holding in my arms than it's actually on the camera itself. There is another step which I'm thinking about to actually add wash as well on a machine. But we made this one literally in just a few minutes of time. We didn't spend much time on actually doing this graphics whatsoever. We just needed to see whether it's going to be working or not, or this is actually, worth investigating or not. And it actually is worth it. So just imagine now if we're going to spend another several hours of actually doing all the more touch-ups on this, the graphic itself. It's going to look amazing. It's going to be looking amazing. So, but even if at this level we add wash to it, it's wow. It will be wow. So I love painting my stuff. Yeah, absolutely. So what we're not gonna be shifting 100% to pre-painted, right? So there's a level of hobby we want to keep and so on, and I think it's worth it. However, I have to bear in mind as well the DNL. It's massive, it's huge. So usually when you get your stuff from us, it's huge, and to paint it, you have to spend a good really amount of hours to actually make it nice and get on a table. And most of the pictures actually I can see on social media of our products, especially dungeon lasers, are they are unpainted. I'm not surprised about it. I mean, if you get 70 something sprues and each of the sprues got like 6-7 elements, that's 300 something or 400 sometimes elements to actually paint. It's quite a lot. So this will allow you to get straight away plug and play. So you get the product and you put on the table, you can play straight away. You don't have to spend those hours of painting it. Yeah, and there are some customers who really want to have just pre-painted. But doesn't mean we will stop unpainted. We will also going to be able to get unpainted stuff from us. Okay. I know why Marcin is saying that. Marcin is our sales guy, and they need to come up with those ideas about what exactly we're gonna be, selling next and in the big box. And Everybody just, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't have any ideas and so on. So they actually struggle now. So if you have some ideas, to drop them straight away to him, or basically here even. Okay. Hi, Jarek. I'm really hyped on HOMM 3 since I feel like there is a trend of going board games based on the video games for a while now. Is this like a standpoint which results in more board game adaptations? I think yes. I think yes. There's a two things, right? So everybody will say the same. It's purely for one of the things to getting into IP is to, like, from the business point of view, right? So you want to make a product and you very confident in the product that is going to be quite good game. You got to get some IP to, you know, get some steam, to get, you know, more people into it. And the video game industry is huge, and we know there is crossover between the video game and as well as the board games. Now, not only that, I think even looking by my own experience, in the last couple of years, I turned 41 this year. In the last couple of years, I actually moved away from the video games. I still spend sometimes just playing and, you know, like Diablo recently, because come on, Diablo and such. But I enjoy more watching miniatures bat reps and some painting sessions and stuff, and even assembling miniatures. It's more enjoyable for me than actually playing video games. And I think it's just the trend of people who wants to move away from the video games, or moving away from the video games, and they will enjoy the board games and, you know, sitting with friends and, you know, having a drink and have some, you know, supper with them and such, and actually play the board game. So I think, yeah, this trend will don't go away, and actually I think it will even increase. Yeah. I don't have more updates about the pirate ship, not today. It's my fault, and my fault is because I meant to sit down on it personally and actually give the guidance to the guys from 3D sculpting, and I couldn't find a minute in the last couple of weeks to actually do so. So it's my weekend job, and this weekend I will get into it. So once I have a cut and split in the pieces I want to have it, I will pass it to the sculptor, and then they will be able to finalize it. So blame me. This is interesting, like sci-fi team miniatures pack and such. I think if we ever going to do that, I think you just answer it kind of the question I was thinking about. If we ever going to do that, we need to go and do it like kind of Starfinder and say to Paizo and have a chat with Paizo whether they're actually interested in this, like, you know, getting our new level of Starfinder miniatures as well as some terrain to play the game, right? But all, you know, you guys probably know about the Starfinder drama from what's the other company name, the Ninja Division. So long story short, Ninja Division did the Starfinder Kickstarter, and they contracted us to make miniatures. We've made like first wave of miniatures, and they just shut the door. And we ended up with massive unpaid bill or invoices. And yeah, back then actually it was very difficult. It was 2015 or 16, something like that. And they were always taking us underwater as well back then. So it wasn't the best times for us. So what we did something crazy. So we said to Paizo that we'll take the Starfinder license and miniatures, and slowly and gradually we will be releasing those miniatures to the to retail, and as well for free out of from our own pocket. We will serve to a Ninja Division backers. I don't know, some crazy stuff, some crazy decisions in the past. And we've been doing this. I think wave number 6 or 7 currently is being released for the Starfinder. or if I spill the beans, sorry, because maybe I did. Maybe they're gonna be this month release or next month release. But there is another wave of miniatures that is going to be released, and then another wave of miniatures that's gonna be shipped out to Ninja Division backers, again for free and from our own pocket in terms of manufacturing. Yeah. So, but again, I don't want to make a random sci-fi themed Dungeons and Lasers, because I kind of know it won't be as successful as Dungeons and Lasers in general, like a fantasy one. So we have to kind of align it with some license. Yeah. Okay. I see you have a question regarding, is more a request than the question, but can you make 3-4 more custom scenarios pages in the rulebook? I prefer this rather than printing separate pages. Yeah, but you have to bear in mind that we also have in plans future scenarios. We also have plans tournaments. I think, oh yeah, I can announce something we actually working towards. Yeah, the guy's gonna kill me for that. But there's a convention in Poland called Pyrkon. We are attending Pyrkon every year, and next year at Pyrkon we would like to run a home free tournament, and it will be dual tournament. So we will be looking at having a video game home free tournament as well as the board game home free tournament. Yeah, so, and obviously we're also going to be working with company called CD Action to, you know, do it together. I think Pyrkon is the best place for this tournament. That's why I personally think, because you have, you know, across all the you have all the spectrum of visitors, right, from you know, my age guys to girls in their 20s. And there's a section for the video games, which is retro video games, which is very, very popular there. So I think the scene for the Heroes 3 might even grow just because of, you know, this kind of activities. But yeah, we are currently having discussion with that. I know, yeah, once I have more info, I will provide. But at the moment, this is what we are trying to do. And regarding those scenarios, you're still gonna have to print them, because if we're going to add more scenarios to the game, they're gonna be available as a print template from our page, which, you know, we'll be able to download it. And you have to bear in mind that the other fact that is we want to make this game very, very tournament ready. So it means it might need some balancing. So here and there, you're gonna have to print some elements anyway, like in any other game. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. Any news on artwork for the remaining multi-pose models? Yeah, I have some to show you in a second. As well, if you go to Deuslair.com, there is a gallery. There's a gallery of miniatures which just been updated with the latest update. So yeah, you may have a look on it. Yeah. Okay, let me just go through some questions. Right. Victoria is on Facebook. We couldn't get yet Facebook comments to be shown here, but Victoria is pasting and copying them. So if you have any comments, just please drop them here. Just, you know, post them there, and we will copy and paste. Any plans for interested or modern urban terrains? Something that could be used in games like Marvel Crisis Protocol, for instance. We have just released the latest Rampart terrain, which is urban terrain. We don't have plans at the moment to do more terrain. Not for those games. However, as I mentioned, because of this process of pre-painted terrains and pre-painted we are currently developing, I think we could potentially focus more on, you know, getting more Rampart terrain out there. Okay. Cool. Right. any further cooperation with Mantic Games, like doing Fantasy Dread Zones? And so in terms of Mantic, yes, we have. Unfortunately, we have NDA signed, and I am unable to give you more information about, but we have several more customers coming to us for the plastic. Just recently we have received email, yesterday we have received email from another big company, large company, and which makes war games, and they also want to move from their own manufacturing as well into plastic injection miniatures. So slowly and gradually we're just becoming a manufacturer for the companies as well. So this is like, I did mention this one back in one of the AMAs, where, you know, we always have to have at least 3 avenues of revenue, and doing those services and tooling and plastic injection is one of them, and it's quite strong. So it's quite strong. I think at the moment it's around about 20 to 25% of our total revenue, which is good. I don't want to go above that because obviously reasons, obvious reasons, right? So in the business you should have at least 80. Well, the principle should be 80 to 20. So 80% of your own products, which you have a full control over it, and then 20% of the services. Because if the services, if you have more than 20%, and if they go away, you're in trouble. So I'm keeping cap basically. So we did say to many customers that we're not gonna be, we cannot actually work with them because of the business not allow at the moment. But yeah. Yeah, go for it. Go for it. Right. More questions we have here from Discord. Are you working on improving your spruce molds to have less connection points and less mold lines for ease of assembling and cleanup? Yes, that's the big one. That's the big one. And thank you, Marco, for this question. So this will be, I could spend even 45 minutes explaining to you what exactly we have improved in the last couple of last few months. We had some issues. We had issues with spruce manufacturing, and right, this process of making spruce is not easy, right? This is extremely complex process, and whenever you go to plastic engineers or some professional specialists whatsoever, they will say, look, this is extremely difficult. You cannot actually calculate the flow of the plastic and such, and blah, 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 blah. So most of the cases is basically you try, you remove the tool, you test it again, you do improvements to the tool, you put back on tool on the machine, and so on, so on, so on. I can give you something, a fun fact. If you're actually collecting Games Workshop products, if you have a look on the sprue itself, on the boundaries of the sprue itself, sometimes you can see the number of dots here, some, odd dots. Now, the number of dots means how many actually times that tool was going back to the workshop to be improved, because there was some, quality issues. And going back to our products, we had one of the big quality issue. We struggled for about 8 months or 9 months, which was so-called overflow. So this means the material was actually overflowing in some areas. Now, normally how we fix this one is by adding bigger runners, which means then in some other area, when you add bigger runner here, this means you can work with the lower pressure, which sometimes fix problems here. But then what it generates, for instance, in other places, so-called the elements which they're not fully filled with the plastic. So what happened then? We needed to increase those things as well, or those runners as well. So, and we thought this is basically the process, but we found the reason for that, why it's happening, and we managed to fix this. So we fixed all the issues with a overflow of the material, and now we can actually go back and start reducing the runners to the ones we have designing at the beginning of this process. This means only having 0.5 millimeter. So I want to be them between 0.5 millimeter to 1 millimeter max, and reduce the amount of them. So yeah, I won't go into much of the details how we fix it. It was one of the craziest ideas which we thought is never gonna work, but it's actually working. So sometimes you have to you have to believe that improving the process is yeah, it's a lottery. It's a lottery basically, which means that sometimes the idea of how to improve come to you from some completely different application, right? So we use machines from different applications to our applications, and suddenly it's actually working. So yeah, but again, improving sprues, molds, and everything, layout, that's what we do constantly. It's an ongoing process. Probably never will finish. I'm actually big fan of buying GW products, not just because they're great. I'm also buying GW products because I do many times. I'm just opening the boxes and looking at the sprues, and I'm trying to reverse engineer them. This means I just check what exactly they have changed in the process, and you can see the steps they've been doing from 2015, 16, 17 onwards. And every 2 years they have kind of change of process when they make some improvements, from cold runners to hot runners, from hot runners to different cuts of the elements, of layouts, of flow and such. So yeah, it's exactly the same here. We always trying to improve, and we will improve it. So yeah. And we're never gonna reach perfection. Don't get me wrong. We're never going to reach perfection. I think this is something which in the plastic injection, you have to spend a lot of time to actually... I don't even think that GW is perfect, right? They still have a lot of things to do, especially sometimes when the way they cut models. My Necrons from 2020 or 2000, yeah, I think it was 2020 or 2019, the latest release of Warhammer. I was actually, they are push feed. They are the worst models I ever assembled from GW. Really, my fingers, my fatty fingers, really, no. I broke those pins. I couldn't assemble them fully. Eventually, I just cut all the pins because they were push fit, cut all the pins and just glue them on miniatures. And the angle, sometimes you have to put those assemble those miniatures. It's just crazy, right? So it's not like, you're always going to have like perfect process, and you still have to improve. However, the latest one, like, new Tyranids are very, very good. Very, very good. So in the last 3 years, they also have, massive improvement in terms of how the models are being assembled. Yeah. What does the process from the start to finish look like for sculptors making design minis? What software tools do they use? Okay, so that's a good question as well. Let me just start it with where it starts. Usually, always it starts from 2D. So you need to have a concept. And actually it starts from description. So usually we need to have description for the models. Then that description goes to a 2D artist, and 2D artist just make a concept, and you have a front and back of the concept for the miniature. Now this description and so on not always works, because sometimes when I need models now and I need this or that, or some random words, you just throw random words at the 2D artist, and yeah, but we have very good 2D artists, and they kind of understand the miniatures and what we're aiming at. So this is where it starts. Then it goes to the sculptor. So the sculptor works in ZBrush, so that's the most popular, and I think the only program which is so advanced in terms of 3D sculpting. And here our process is slightly different to any other company, because then that shape goes to another software, to the plastic engineers, which is called Freeform Plus. And this software requires a lot of skill, a lot of knowledge, and because at that moment, that model, we decide how the model is going to be cut. So we assigned, put elements in separate different blocks. So this will be arm, this will be body and head together and such. Once we establish that, then everything goes back to the sculptor, and then the sculptor needs to rearrange few elements, few components, maybe resculpt the model slightly or repose the model slightly. And then once all that is done, the model goes back again to freeform, when it's then cut to be a miniature. And later that element goes through all the engineering processes from the just normal CAD/CAM processing in order to get it into CNC machine to cut it all. So that's how it looks. So usually 2D description, 2D, 3D, cutting, 3D, cutting, and then onto machine. Software and then machine. Okay. Yes, absolutely. Everybody thinks that I'm addicted to plastic. Yes, no, I'm not. Come on, no, I'm not. I'm just buying competition stuff just to see how they're making it. Yeah, I agree on that statement. Yes, the gallery's been updated, so it wasn't added yet to the gallery. It will be there. It will be there. Actually, we had discussion today about the dragon turtle because I've seen it like a couple weeks ago, and I still haven't seen the final render. So we're trying to find it. Where is it and what's going on? So I might have the render for you in the next couple of weeks, but definitely the gallery will be updated with it. Okay, I have some big stuff to show you. Actually, I've got the box here. It's only, well, you will see in a second. So, but the question is the big box meant to save space with internal specific trails, or is just the same trails that rest of the boxes, but stuck in one big box? It's different. It needs to be aligned differently, and I will show you this in a sec. We have all the layers, how it's gonna be stacking up. So I'll show you that. Can you add 2 cards to set the MOTU Battleground expansion set? I'm not quite sure what you mean. Sorry, I'm not getting this question. So just do me a favor, rephrase it, and yeah. Okay, so Deuslair, we posted the Deuslair update yesterday on the Kickstarter. So I just wanted to show you the latest arts we have done for it. Obviously the book will be full of arts, so we're still working on them. There's still plenty of arts to be done and to finish. So yeah, bear with us. Here we have a TMNT, our version, fantasy version. So that's playable races, right? So we said the playable races, you will be able to play in different factions. Just wanted to show you again. This is the same pictures we had at the Kickstarter update. That gave me a lot of ideas. Like, we've been talking about this to make a the war game kind of war game in a set of the Deuslair. And this miniature is actually quite good for that. Very, very good for that. So we're gonna be thinking about that one. That's, yeah. When? Probably in the next couple of years, not soon, because with so many projects, ongoing projects, and 2 IP projects, a couple of the other projects which we currently put on pause, and DNL, which is, we're thinking is gonna be very, very important projects towards the end of the year. But yeah, Deuslair. And then we have a pigs, well, orcs, classic orcs, in a playable races, paladin, rogue, bard, and fighter. Yeah. Yep, you have answer here. So 1 box, dedicated trays for each of the product. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Yeah, it's glossy because we tested something else. It's not glossy here. Hold on, let me just show my face. That's my lovely face. Right, okay. It's glossy here, right here, and because we added something to it. We added something to make it glossy. We were testing. Sorry, maybe you didn't hear. We were testing different solutions, and one of the solutions was actually see whether we can make something glossy. If we need something to be glossy, we can actually make it like that. But rest of it, it's not. Yeah, rest of it is actually matte finish. So that was on purpose. Is there a possibility in the next Kickstarter? We'll see. It's difficult to actually say which type of fantasy we have or we're going for with the miniatures. But this comic book style, funny style, it's actually fading a little bit, and you're going into more. Let's call it real fantasy. If the fantasy could be real, that's a good one. And something about dark fantasies, yeah. So mixed. And that's Robbling the Goblin in two versions, not several, but two versions. So we have both versions, and this is how you're gonna be able to assemble it. Okay, let me just quickly check questions. We never look at actually going to trade shows into the north. I know there's a few wargaming trade shows happening and convents. The thing is that we are this year going to be 1, 2, 3 at 6 or 7 different trade shows, including the retail ones and such. And at the moment, our team is only about 4 or 5 people who goes on those trade shows. So if we're going to focus on all the trade shows, we will run out of steam to do no more work. So we have to be very, very selective about the trade shows. However, saying that, we have one of the projects which we definitely want to have and be more present on every single, even small trade show. So like the ones in Berlin, for instance. I mean, you'd be surprised there is a few trade shows in Berlin and we haven't gone for them yet, but we're gonna go for that next year. And as well as across the Europe for the small ones as well. In Poland, there's a few, so maybe there will be option to get more people into the business next year and just assign them just purely for a trade shows and marketing. At the end of the day, if you're on a trade show, you exist. Yeah, that's the thing about trade shows. One of the big deals we managed to close this year was because of trade show. Right? It's difficult to actually see. It's difficult to actually talk about. It's difficult to talk about the business or about the, contracts if you actually not at the trade shows, because you have to show samples of your product. And the pictures are pictures, but if somebody actually see your samples in person, it's like, wow, mind blowing. Okay, that looks great. Let's go for it. So, and yeah. We have been on one of the most important trade shows this year was in February, when we met with 3 different people, and out of 3 different discussions, we signed the deal for 2, which is a very, very good rate of The next year we're gonna be at the same trade show, very close to Games Workshop. So hello. I don't know. Okay, more Deuslair. Characters and some graphics which obviously gonna go into the RPG book, and some full arts as well. I'm running out of water, which is never good. A little bit about Deuslair. As I mentioned, the team is on holidays. So for last 2 weeks we had, and for the following week, there's not much update to show you in terms of miniatures, sprues and such. But we're back next week, like all the teams back next week and week after. So we should have I should have some good sprues to show you. Now, this is what I mentioned just a few minutes ago about designing, and this is just follow up on that one. As you can see, each of the color is a separate element to be assembled on a miniature. So in order to make this model and make sure this element, which is bluishy, grayishy, as a one piece, sometimes when the designer or sculptor designed this element or that element, when you try to make it its so-called draft, it won't work. And then we need to go back to the we need to go back to the sculptor to actually fix it or realign it in order to actually have it in the draft. This is one of the golems from Deuslair, by the way. So if you're wondering what's that miniature, you might not have seen it yet. So here you are. That's quite classic model. We had this model designed many years ago for Load. And yeah, I mean, funny story about Load, by the way, which you might not know about it. The battleground itself, the rules for the battleground itself were initially written for Load the Wargame. With some changes, obviously, because Load the Wargame, I believe, was on a measuring stick, like full distance movement and such, not on a hexes as it is on the battleground. But yeah, so we had those miniatures and we said a long time ago we should be just changing those miniatures and getting those miniatures in the plastic injection in order to launch the Load. But then we needed another product for, which I also mentioned one of the AMA previously. We need one more product for with the Mattel license, and we adopted the rules from Load into Battleground, which I think was one of the best calls we could do, because the game is, you know, receiving quite good reviews, very good reviews, and scores on Board Game Geek as well are very good, and yeah, it's got a potential to actually grow, which is amazing. And Owlbear, I don't know how to even pronounce that. You know what I mean, yeah? All the elements you can see here are optional. The arrow as well is just optional. We needed to make it optional. So 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 pieces for this model, maybe 6 pieces for this model, and then the family as well, a few more pieces of plastic. Rat Dragon, this is my favorite one. This is what I want on my desk ASAP. And one of the reasons is basically I'm a huge fan of Skavens, or basically rats, and yeah, no, which are actually second to undeads. They are second to undeads, but both armies are played in Warhammer Fantasy Battle. I was playing both armies, so Skavens and undeads. But yeah, reminds me a little bit about the Skavens. But yeah, this is coming and to another miniatures and models. So as you can see, what we're trying to achieve is provide you with very good quality miniatures and models, which only have a few elements to assemble, right? But you won't lose on detail. So in this case, yeah, or in that case. Yeah, something I wanted to go back. This is the size of the big box. It's a little bit bigger than we anticipated, right? Veronica is holding that here, and you can see it's absolutely massive. And I've got the white one. I've got the white one, which means it doesn't have a graphic on it, but just to show you the size of it. I don't know. My head is huge, full of cuckoo, but you have to bear in mind I don't have it even banana for scale. I don't know. That's the cup. That's the thingy. It's huge. Now, what we're trying to do, because there was a many question about how I'm going to store this one, you will be able to store that way in your Kallax. So it's a Kallax, let's say not 100% friendly. It's gonna be Kallax okay, but it's gonna stick out from your Kallax a little bit. About 12 centimeters will have to stick out. Now, going back to this box, and we had discussion with our manufacturer. And the manufacturer told us this is the best solution for the big box we can come up with. And one of the reasons why is, you know, the other game Witcher, which was just released, sent out from the Kickstarter backers. The Witcher itself had also a big box, but the content we have in our game, there's more content in our game than it was in Witcher. So they advised us very, let's say, they actually pushed us to that, to actually make this box that way. Otherwise it's not going to be resist enough to actually hold all the content you're going to have with your game. So the box is bigger than we anticipated. We squeezed it a little bit to get it onto Kallax, but yeah, it needs to hold everything in there, right? So that's the kind of final box. Hold on, let me just clear it. I'll come back to this question in a second. Okay, so how everything goes is that's your bottom layer, but that's your bottom layer where you will find all the character cards, town cards, and then the map hexes and some tokens. Then we have a layer for the other print elements, so tokens. Don't ignore the game board. It's not the game board. It's basically tokens. And then on that box here, you have the miniatures and other layer for the miniatures, another layer for the miniatures, and then we're closing with another layer for the miniatures. So the majority of that is going to be miniatures, and every single one will have its own tray. So I think I answered fully this question. I know you might have more question about it, but I don't know what else to say. I hope the size of it, you're not disappointed with the size of it. I hope you're not disappointed with the size of it. Stream broken? It's okay on mine. I think my team would let me know, but yeah, it's okay on here. Okay, stream broke. We lost a couple of minutes here too. I don't know whether it's at our end or yeah, it must be. Okay, we're testing new software, so maybe that's one of the reasons why the stream broke. We will see what goes. Do me a favor, just drop in the comments what was the last thing I was talking about, and then I'll go back to the and explain or answer the questions. Okay. Okay, between the pigs and Natasha. Let's go back there. What I was talking about. Okay. That was the Natasha. Okay. Right, so that was the Natasha. I was showing and explaining that a little bit design changes, and design change because we have different designers for this level of for this Deuslair. Then we have this, which is the Deuslair, the Roblin the Goblin, Goblin the Roblin, in several versions, so you can assemble it in different way. 40 seconds. Okay, thanks for that. Thanks for the comments. And then I was showing the graphics. So just gonna go through quickly, right? So showing the graphics which the team actually working on, just to show you that it's ongoing work for Deuslair and for the RPG books. Then we have this art which I really love and like. Then we have those things which I mentioned about the cutting the miniatures. So the way we cut the miniatures, making sure that there is no undercuts, and sometimes when the sculptors finish, goes to the team which actually cut the model, and then go back with feedback to actually change some bits and bobs in order to actually make it for plastic injection, right? So that's basically follow up on that one. I was mentioning about this model, and I was mentioning about load being part of load the battleground being load the battleground being actually rules from the battleground, Master of the Universe battleground. We adopted basically, and I was mentioning this model, so you have seen that one as well. That's one of the models I want to really have it, because that's one of the models which is I played Skavens basically in the past, and as well as undeads, but the Skavens was second army, equally good to the Skavens. So yeah, I was mentioning these models as well about cutting them in a smaller number of bits in order to speed up the assembly, but making sure not losing on the quality. And there was a big box, and big box, I think you were here for the big box, right? So big box, it's huge. It's really big box. And that one you mentioned. Yeah, okay, good. Let's go for the next pages. So you've been asking for cards, show me cards, and currently we are oh no, actually I need to show you something. Okay, there was a big I need to give you a big update on a little bit boring now on this. I hope you can see it. I need to move to that page as well, which I did. Okay, yes. So okay, so this is how we run our projects. It's a Gantt. We use Gantter, which is basically the software for running Gannts to show you how and where we exactly are with the projects. As you can see here, we said that the shipping, so production and finalizing production and actually shipping to us, which is including about 3 weeks of shipping, we assigned around about 90 days. And we should be starting all the process round about here, which is in August 20th. August 20. So the proper update about, hi guys, we're gonna be on time and definitely we're gonna be shipping to you everything, is basically at this moment here. If this moment here is gonna be, you know, on time, it means that yes, we're not gonna be having any delays whatsoever. Now, what's left? Now, all those tick boxes here means that we finish them. So we finish, you know, for all the add-ons, and especially the Inferno was the big one, because as you know, we never planned Inferno, and then suddenly we said, okay, let's do Inferno. And you see, adding something like that to the projects when the project was almost finalized, well, but some of the things were not finalized, but we needed to be finalized, and then adding on top of that Inferno could jeopardize the projects, but we managed to squeeze it in and get everything approved, except I think everything is approved and it's now in translation. So translation needs to go on and to be finished. So where we are here, the things could be worried about is, and the feedbacks we should getting on is basically translations to languages like Polish, for instance, because once we finish that one, obviously, once translation is finished, which is currently happening, well, currently it's not happening, but currently we're implementing all the translation, Polish translation in the cards, which I showed you just a few seconds ago. So it's finished, and we need to finalize the cards layout by the August of 20th. Same goes for the English, same goes for the German and French. Now, German and French is not doing internal, this is doing external. So this means the company which actually translate the books for us to those languages, they're also going to be doing layout. So this is something which we, Jakub sent the email out requesting the update, and I hope we're gonna get that update from them soon. Which means next week. So then we can align the dates. Now, do we have any any room of, you know, timeline and such? We believe so. But then again, we have to update this one just to make sure that we have all the materials. I think the English one now is being fully assembled in manufacturer, so should be able to show you some pictures from the factory in the next couple of weeks. So meaning at the next hour. Okay. Right. Oh, Jakub is on the comments, so he can actually give you more update on that one. The art book is about to be finished and approved. So just the art book needs to go through the approval process. The art book is not at all the problem, because we have time. For the art book, we have actually time to get printed around about, I don't know, October. Well, October is shipping, so around about September. So it's not kind of the problem. So yeah, but that's it. That's about to finish. So you know now how we work and what we do, and so on, so on, so on, so on. And all the graphics you have seen before, I've made like a very, very simplified chart to show you where exactly we should be with the project. Is basically on that one. Is made on that one. Okay. Now going back to presentation. And how I gonna go there? I think like that. You should be seeing. Oh yes, okay. So here are some example of cards. You wanted some sneak peek, so we give you in Polish. Why not? And take a screenshot, and you can just read them later. I do have many more, but I just wanted to go with a a few of them just to show you. Now, I'm very, 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 very pleased with, in general, quality and how everything looks on the table now. Finally, that, you know, consistency between the elements and so on, so on. It's very, very good. So we have some photos from latest test, that is game test, as to show you. This is the battleground and not battleground. Yeah, you know what I mean. Expansion. So it's made with not final yet products, right? So bear in mind, this is basically made out of the components we have made it here. The final component is going to be much better quality because they're going to be final components, obviously. But it looks spectacular, I think. Literally spectacular. So, yeah. That is amazing. Battlefield, yeah. I keep getting confused. And I've been playing Battlefield for like always, like video game Battlefield. I should remember, but for some reason, you know, sometimes you have this one tiny element which you know, one word which basically you cannot remember. Battlefield, yeah. Right, and yeah. So I just want to tease you a little bit to show you exactly how, you know, all the components, when they finalize, how they look. Okay, so the normal question, we have some questions here. About the big box, do cards fit sleeves? Yes, the card needs to fit sleeves. They have to. And final, the tokens are well organized. Must be. So this one is actually a suggestion from manufacturer. So this is something which we're really which we're happy about it, that, you know, the manufacturers actually is giving us some advices how to actually do and what to do, like the big box. If we say to him, make the big box this way, he will do it, but then obviously it won't be strong enough. But that's why we're making a completely different big box, slightly different in large size, because of we need to make sure that nothing is gonna get damaged when you carry them around. Okay. And then finally we have something to show you from caves. So the team is working on the caves. Chair is moving around, I don't know why. Shouldn't work like that. Okay, it stops. Okay, I've got it. I've got it. Okay, the caves. Caves is one of the bigger one. The caves we plan to... The cave we plan to run towards the end of the year, and we have big plans for the caves. And the team is working currently, and we managed to do 2 walls design. So we're actually working on the new sprue, which is gonna be a test sprue, but not only test sprue, is also gonna be a that sprue which we're gonna be shipping out to reviewers, and maybe to Kickstarter backers. We will see how, you know, how much budget we have for that. What I mean by Kickstarter backers, it means if we're going to be shipping Deuslair before this starts, this means you're gonna get it. If not, well, yeah, we're not gonna get it. So yeah, and we have 2 of the walls, so you can see them from different angles. You can see them from the top, you can see them from the side view, and also both front and the back. Obviously, front and the back will be completely different design, so this means you can rotate them 90 degrees, and they're gonna be all different. Same goes for the demon ones. Now, the team also, you know, coming up with more and more ideas. Hold on, because I've got some question. See, I'm just getting refreshed now of the stream. I think we also have a little bit of problem here with the stream. Yeah, Martin is right here in terms of actually being at the trade shows. We also asking our distributors if they're there. I think we did that with French distributor several times. This I answered, yes. Yeah. Will we have a real look, live look of the box before the pledge manager close might change from individual boxes to the big one? you just seen it over there with Victoria. So this is basically the final size, and I've got that one just to show you as well. It's huge. It's basically huge, and I think we went through all this. So if you just joined to stream, just go back and rewatch it, and yeah. At least twice larger. I thought it was going to be at least twice larger. I don't know. Yeah, I think if it's going to be twice, we wouldn't be able to make it as a like normal game, like normal board game box. It would have to be made out of, I don't know, something completely different, you know, which, you know, yeah, you would have like a carton board, right? We've printed something to make it strong and robust. That's the thing, you know. You need to make sure it's not gonna be breaking whatsoever. Oh yeah, this is something interesting. I was going to ask you this question: where you would like to see this campaign to be on? Would you like to see a next campaign on Kickstarter or GameFound? Just drop me if you're still watching, because an hour just passed. If you're still watching, do me a favor, just drop the comments, because I was thinking about the GameFound to actually make it the monthly payment available for the next campaign. But let me know what you think about it, and yeah, whether you just prefer, or it's no difference, there's no difference to you, or you prefer GameFound, or you prefer the Kickstarter one. Yeah, here about Wave 2. Wave 2 translations, this is other languages which were in Wave 2. So we mentioned about Czech, we mentioned about Swedish, I think some other languages as well, which were meant to be Wave 2, but they are currently in the translation, so we're hoping to actually get them at the same time and run all the production at the same time. Okay, so I just want to quickly to show you. I see GameFound, Kickstarter, GameFound. Okay, I don't like GameFound because you cannot read up via email. You need to open the web page. That's interesting. That's interesting. I thought when you're actually going to sign up for the project, you're going to get emails anyway. At least I was getting emails. If I sign up for the, even if I sign up for the campaign without actually backing, every single update I'm getting through my email. And I'm seeing the, you know, updates. That's interesting. I'm definitely something I will ask Marcin for it, or the guys at the GameFound. Yeah. So okay, that's good to know. That's different sometimes. That's different, you know. That's different. It's yeah. Okay. But believe me or not, we always unlocking all the stretch goals. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm joking. We do have. We are much more cautious about. What type of and how much stretch goals we adding nowadays than used to be. Used to be we loaded up with stretch goals with, you know, real sense of understanding. So there's more concepts which coming through. So obviously not all of the concepts you will see materialize in 3D. But some of the curved walls, like those things. I really like those things. I like those things with the gap in there, because yeah, you might kind of extend it and build it another round, and then you can see it through. Something cool, something really cool. And this is the triangle end, the triangle end. No, this is basically half tile. Oh, let's call it half tile, right? So it's the size of this normal, it's a half tile. So what we plan to do, we need, one of the videos I showed you before is we need those things actually as an end between the corridors. And I need them only because I think visually it's going to look much better if we add them to the spruce, and we have a room for them. Now that's going to give you more flexibility in terms of how you build your rooms and how you build your corridors, because this will allow you to actually build corridor on 45 degree. Now, what you see here is actually we're going through the half of the tile, but realistically, we actually gonna be making detail just on the edge of that, so you will be able to stack two of them next to each other. Okay. And we have more ideas about them, more ideas about. I like those things. I like them because they are much more 3D, if you know what I mean. So they will break this. How to say that? Visually, it's gonna look much more. It will have more depth visually. I like the reference to stalagmites. I like those reference. So yeah, that's what we might expected, and it's actually quite nice end, if you know what I mean. End to the tiles, and yeah, like that, and even more. And then we have this. So Marcin is working on different type of solutions we could use for adding new layers or increasing the height for what's the thingy for the caves. So he come up with this idea. I need to see how they would join in general. So what type of blocks we're gonna use. I think there is a way and there is a solution to actually make this one work. But this is something which we have as a first concept, and we will see how it goes. But this will allow us to actually create something like that. So when you have a yeah, it's coming from you guys. I mean, one of you was actually pushing, give me some, we want layers, create some layers. And then, we investigated it and said, well, you know what, maybe let's try it. Let's see what we can do. It's much easier way than the previous stackable. Maciej come up with some 3D artist come up with some other idea, which I'm also going to be looking into it. Kind of like a box, and you just have this box and you place this box and you can just then put flows on that box. I like it in one way, but in another way I don't, because it's just plain box and doesn't have a detail. So then we said maybe we can create more details on the edges and so on. But again, it doesn't fix the it doesn't provide the solution I wanted to have. So we may find some other solution to that. So yeah, but stay tuned. Definitely we will come up with something. I already got some ideas how to do it. But stackable, and then you could potentially put like stone kind of rockish thingy underneath, and then maybe trims around it would be like the trims. You have those trims from the same idea for the trims which we have in the Woodhaven. Like you attach the trim and then you can create a very, very nice bridge like that, or maybe some and then we can add some stairs, and yeah. We will see. We will see what actually when this is going to be. I think it's gonna be one of the most advanced kind of Dungeon Lasers Kickstarter we ever had, because curved walls, caves, open system caves, stackable, pre-painted. I don't know what else we can add it in, and some miniatures to go with it, and then fries if you want. Yeah, so big fries. So yeah, it's shaping up. So, and it's good actually to have such a large team, because quite large team we have currently in a 2D focusing on that one. So, and there's more and more ideas coming to there. So, might be very, very amazing. Maybe really amazing. Yeah. Okay. Let's check the questions, because I can see they've been just refreshed. So I can see the Kickstarter game found. Actually, game found is more game found than the Kickstarter itself. Don't care. Kickstarter game found are okay. Game found. Gets the PM sorted also. Yeah. Either is fine. Okay. Okay. I think we will because you see the game fund might allow you, and we can allow you to make the monthly payments, and we don't mind. We don't mind. I mean, I understand all the thingies about where everybody are currently, because we are on the same boat globally, financially. But hobby is a hobby. You always have to spend money on a hobby. I mean, cannot believe, you know, I won't feed myself, I'll feed my family, but I won't feed myself, but I will still buy hobby products. That's it. This is how committed I am, at least I am, to the hobby, and make it pay monthly or something like that. It's no problem. It's no problem to us, and it's definitely easier the budgeting, especially when it goes to, you know, buying a big chunk of terrains, which might end up, you know, $200, $300. It's quite a lot. Yeah. So maybe we can go with this avenue. Maybe we can go with Gameplant Avenue. We will see how it goes. I'll have a chat with the boys. Okay, so the mail does not contain the full text of the update, just the header and link. Right. That's what I mean. Ah, okay. Right, okay. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, I know what I mean. I meant you get notification, but I know what I mean. Now that you can actually, you have to go on the page to actually see it. I will pass this feedback to Marcin. I'll pass this feedback to guys at Gamefront and see if they're actually working on that one, to change this one somehow. And what's the reason behind it, you know? I do understand the reason to take you back on a page, but I don't understand the reason why you're forcing you to take you back on a page. Yeah? So I'll actually read it. Yeah, you prefer Kickstarter, so yeah. Okay. Let's see, more questions. Yeah, I mentioned this one. That you're gonna be able to get a special miniature, as always, at Essen, as well as the sneaky peek for 2 new faction. And yeah. And as normal, we're gonna have some nice releases at Essen. Yep. It is. You see, everything in the past, the DNLs were very, very engineered, right? So everything is squared, and having something like a corner pieces which feels that square and from distance looks much more organic, it's great. It's really great. True. Okay. That's option, yeah. Okie dokie. I see more questions coming. That would be great to get some storage solution for dungeon analysis. Yeah. You see, one of the things I was we won't be able to do it probably at this dungeon analysis, is to actually have it them provided not on sprues. So at the moment the plan is to actually provide you pre-painted but on sprues, so you're gonna have to cut them, clip them, but don't worry about it. We will use the color of the plastic, which won't be that much visible once you remove the runners or gates. But what I would like to do finally at some point, to make them in a box, so you buy them in a tray and you have them in a tray, just remove from the tray and use them and put them back, so no on the sprues. That's only one thing which we still need time to actually develop that. I don't want to do everything at once with this project, because some things are not fully confirmed, which means might cause a lot of issues later on when we start to working on the projects and try to deliver. So we're only going to be using things which we're 100% sure that are actually going to work. Yeah. I know, not addicted to it. Also, you always have to pay for hobby. Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, the hobby is last one to go. Hobby is last one to go. I mean, let's face it, hobby is last one to go, because I think it's something mentally about it. I mean, not mentally. I mean, it's something about that. In all of those things you do in your life, and with all the stress, all the problems, you need to have safe, you know, harbor, like a safe harbor. And my safe harbor is basically hobby. Whenever I feel that I need to stress out, playing video games is not helping me whatsoever. Really, when I sit down on the miniatures and even assembling and gluing miniatures, really makes me calm. And you know, I think I'm not alone, right? I think more people, there's more people like myself, when you know you have so much to do during the day, during the week, when you really have to have a hobby, and hobby lasts to go, and yeah, helps always. I think so. I think the GameFound already posts some data behind the projects which were run with monthly payments, and yeah, they generated in general a little bit more revenue than normally. Yeah. Okay, so let me just finish, because we already 20 minutes above 1 hour, and it's I know how difficult it is to, you know, listen to my voice or watch my face constantly. Just couple of words to finish. I would like to get more of our team on a video and on those AMAs, and maybe I will force Michał to do one of the AMA next week. Next one, not next week, but next one, or maybe in the next couple of weeks, and with, you know, support of Szymon and such. Yeah, just to keep you entertaining, because you know it's only myself coming here, and we have like almost 90 people in the business, so I believe there should be more people actually showing off. Yeah, let's say showing off. Okay, so I would like to wish you all the best during this weekend. We're going to have Saturday off, but I'm gonna be working Sunday, but Saturday off with the family, and yeah, and I will see you in the next couple of weeks, unless we have some like an urgent update to show you something. Stay tuned.